So what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Robert. If this is your first time tuning in. So today we're going to talk about why people who spend their money on experiences tend to be happier than people who spend money on material items. So I'm going to give you my personal opinion, my personal take, and then we're also going to ask ChatGPT and see what they have to say, or see what it has to say about that as well. So I've been seeing a lot of studies coming out basically talking about how people who spend money on experiences tend to live happier, better lives. And it got me thinking, and from my personal experience from looking at other people that I know that travel and that spend their money on things like that as well, I see that they're happy as well. So that's what we're going to quickly talk about. Like I said, I'm going to give you my personal opinion first, then we'll go ahead and jump into what the phone has to say, the internet has to say. I already did my morning run, so I'm pretty sweaty. It's humid. It's been drizzling all morning too, so humid, rainy. Yeah, so that's why we're already sweating. But it's not because I'm just overweight and fat just walking around. I actually already ran, so in case anyone's wondering. But like, man, this guy's just holding a camera. He's already sweating. God dang. But yeah, so goddamn mosquito. So I saw a couple studies that just came out that said basically people who travel and spend money on travel and experiences and things like that tend to be happier, tend to live happier lives. For my personal opinion and from my personal experiences, I've seen people who I know travel a lot, and they tend to be happier even though they don't, you know, maybe drive the nicest cars or have the nicest houses. They tend to be happier. They tend to be a closer family, especially once they decide to settle down and have kids, or even those who travel with kids. They tend to be closer. They tend to be a little bit more united. Again, just from my small circle of people, they tend to have good lives. Now, there's a couple of different reasons why I think that is. One is a car. If I buy a car today, it's gonna be great for a day, right? It's gonna get me really, really excited. There go quail. Scare the shit out of me. They're pretty good eating, by the way. But if you buy a car, it typically will be great for a day, for maybe a week, and then the newness, the excitement starts to wear off over time. Versus with a, you know, a trip of a lifetime, a vacation, especially with somebody else, you typically have that moment, that special moment to share with somebody else for the rest of your life, right? As long as you still have your mind, that memory lives in your head forever, and it only appreciates in value as time goes on, versus a vehicle depreciates in value as time goes on. And I'll quickly talk about that right now. So for instance, me and my fiance have been together for a long time. We've taken a lot of trips together, a lot of vacations together, and we always will be sitting, you know, having lunch, having dinner, and then we'll just be like, hey, you remember that time this and this happened? Remember this time that and that happened? It's something that you and that person will typically share for the rest of your lives, that not everybody will know, only you guys will know. But aside from that, it also builds a connection that you won't share with anyone else. So it adds more connection between those two people. And like, I'll give you an example. So we were in a foreign country, me and my fiance were on a motorcycle, and we were going up this mountain, I guess, and it wasn't a really super developed country. The road wasn't super developed either. So, and they don't use the best gasoline either for those motorcycles. So, and everything's not perfect, right? It's kind of just winging it. And we were going up this mountain. She was behind me she was on the same bike, but sitting behind me, and I was driving. And we're going up the mountain, and then all of a sudden we start going higher and higher and higher. Well, that freaking motorcycle decides to die out. I'm assuming because the gasoline moved to one side of the gas tank more than the other, and maybe it wasn't pulling enough fuel. That's my guess. I really don't know what happened, but I was like, oh shit, like that thing is stalling out. We're in the middle of the freaking mountain. You know, there's people behind us. Like, there's no way I can stop this thing from going backwards. So I was like, babe, get off, get off, get off. Like, I need to be able to get my leg out of here so I can get down, hold this freaking bike up from rolling all the way back and taking everyone out with me. So she did, she jumped off, and I got down, and I was able to maneuver that bike and move it off to the side. And then we started it right back up. It was probably the fuel. I don't know what else it could have been, but that was an experience where we're like, now looking back, we're laughing because our fat asses freaking had the damn motorcycle stall out on us. And yeah, there's just a lot of those moments, a lot of those memories that, you know, you just can't you can't just make up, and you can't just redo again, right? They're just things that happen, and they're memories, and they are things that you and that person will probably share for the rest of your lives. So that's what I mean by that. They just appreciate and value, because as we get older, say I'm 70 years old, but I remember these trips and vacations, they become that much more important in my mind, because they're things I can't do anymore, right? Assuming I'm not in great health or whatever, right? Let's say 80 years old, 90 years old, but I still remember those memories. They just become more and more valuable because it's something I can't physically do anymore, but they're things that we did together as we lived. So that's what I mean by they appreciate and value versus material items depreciate and value. I asked ChatGPT, are people who spend money on experiences happier, or people who spend money on material items happier? And then it came out and said, research consistently shows that people who spend money on experiences tend to be happier than those who spend it on material things. Here's why. Experiences tend to create lasting happiness. It gives you a couple bulletin points. Memories grow more positive over time. Even a stressful trip can later be remembered fondly, while a scratched phone loses value very quickly. Makes sense. Experiences become part of an identity. I hiked the Rockies, or I went to that concert. Shapes who you are more than I bought a new watch. I didn't think about it like that, but that's actually kind of true. Yeah, there's a lot of things that I can think about for myself and for us that I'm like, yeah, we did this, we did that. If anyone's been to like Bali, we hiked Kling Beach and Diamond Beach and a bunch of these other beaches that were crazy and kind of scary, but man, it's just something you have to do. Builds up confidence, and it kind of puts your fear aside, because I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of scared, but you know, we still did it, and it's something that I could say, like, I went down that mountain or whatever, right? So it's pretty accurate. They're harder to compare. It's easier to envy someone's car than their weekend getaway. Experiences feel more personal and unique. Yeah, that's true. Not everyone's going to do exactly the same thing on a cruise or on a vacation as the next person, because not everyone has the same interest, but you can definitely buy the same BMW or Audi or Lambo as somebody else. So yeah, I can see that too. They're harder to recreate, harder to recreate. Experiences strengthen relationships. This is one that I really do agree with. I'll give you a quick little story. So we were in Taiwan, and we didn't know how to read the freaking sign. We knew it said something about a bus because we were waiting for a bus. But when we took a picture and tried to do like a Google Translate, it wasn't that accurate. It gave us, I don't know, it wasn't anything related to what we thought it should have been. So my fiance thought, well, what if we just Google each word, or Google Translate one word at a time, and we just wrote it down and made a sentence out of it. So that's what we did. You know, she started on one side, I started on the other side of the sentence, and together we came up with a sentence that made sense. So it forces you to work together again, because you don't speak the language. And I'm sure there were people that probably speak English, I'm sure there were, but it just forces you to work together and to figure things out. And that again, it just builds strength within the relationship, because you know at the end of the day you can rely on somebody, and that somebody is your partner or your best friend. So yeah, I definitely can see that. We'll see what it says right now. Shared experiences foster connection. Travel, meals, events, and even spontaneous adventures create social bonds, which are core ingredient of happiness. Yeah, true. Anticipation adds joy. People often get excited before an experience. Very true. Counting down to a vacation, planning an event, while material items offer a quick, short-lived high. Yeah, that's definitely true. Kind of like what I said with the car, like it's cool for a day, it's cool for a week, but it starts to wear off and now you're looking for the next thing. Versus with a vacation, the whole month, the whole year, if you only take one vacation a year, you're looking forward to this trip. It's I don't know what it is about it, man, but yeah, just people just really get excited about it. I do too. I get super excited. I start planning and thinking ahead and daydreaming about trips and vacations. So yeah, it's very true. And then even afterwards, you're always talking about it. And then, you know, even years down the road, we're still remembering things that happened to us or things we did, cool things we saw, even years later. So yeah. Now, and ChatGPT did say that, but there's a caveat: material goods that enable experiences. So like things like cameras, bikes, or musical instruments can also bring long-term joy. Yeah, you need something to capture the memories. I guess you don't need something, but it's nice to have it for sure. Yeah, and that's pretty much all it says. That's pretty much all ChatGPT gave me. Just wanted to kind of see what it had to say versus, you know, my opinion, I guess, on something like that. But yeah, I hope this was entertaining for you guys. Just wanted to kind of throw that out there, just with my personal experiences compared to what the internet has to say. But yeah, without further ado, be careful, be good, take care, God bless. Hope you guys enjoyed that short video. See you guys later. Bye-bye.